Good morning. My name is CAINE, and I'm one of the assistant directors at the UCF Abroad office. And today we're going to talk about exchange programs. Now, exchange program is only one of the study abroad options that we offer. There's also faculty-led programs. There's also partner programs. And then there's international internships. But for today's presentation, we're focusing only on exchange program and the process that is involved in doing that. For any of the study abroad programs that we have, one of the things that we really want to say to students is to be organized. Review all the emails that are sent to them, take out the information that they need to remember, but being organized and actually reading the detailed information provided is super helpful for this process, as it does require quite a bit of steps on the student's part. So just to review what an exchange program is, it's an established agreement between the University of Central Florida and a foreign university abroad. So we have an agreement that's on our books between our two universities. And at this time, we have anywhere from 6 to 72 exchange program agreements. In this format, we actually pre-articulate the coursework, which basically means that we ask the university abroad to provide us a syllabi or a copy of the course schedule and let us review and make sure that the class the student will take abroad will be equivalent to a UCF course, to a upper level elective, some sort of a course that they can get credit for at the University of Central Florida. So we actually have that information done prior to the student departing. The exchange program is reciprocal in nature, therefore there are mobility numbers. So for example, we may have a program that says we can only send 6 students a year. And so if there are 2 departments that are actually have the agreement, which is maybe a math department and hospitality, we divvy up the numbers. So each department will have 3 numbers, 3 slots that they can fill up students. So the numbers are important because in the reciprocity, we can send only 6 and we can only accept only 6. And so we rebalance every year. So one of the things within the process of being an exchange student, and you will see when you apply, is that it says you have 14 days to commit to the program. And one of the reasons why we give you that 14 days is that if you don't commit within that time frame, we consider you that you're not serious about the program. And so we may put you on the wait list while we select another student for the limited slots that we have for each program. This is a dual application and dual enrollment process. So as we go through the phases, when you are committed to the program, you will be asked to submit an application to the university abroad. And they may ask for certain documentation in order for them to accept you. This can be inclusive of transcripts, not the audit, the actual transcripts. And then they may also ask you for a copy of your passport, which we generally ask students to apply for ahead of time. And also it can be included in essay, something to write about why you're interested in studying at this university or in this country. They can ask for additional documentation as well, but it is necessary for you to complete an application with the university abroad and gain acceptance, because you do need a formal acceptance letter from that university in order to process a visa. The tuition at the partner university abroad is waived, meaning you're not paying any tuition at the partner university. You will, however, continue to pay your normal tuition at UCF. So if that tuition is in-state, you continue to pay the in-state rates. If that tuition is out of state, you'll continue to pay your normal out-of-state rate. So right now, the programs are major specific. So we have certain programs in business, in Nicholson School of Communication and Media, within College of Engineering and Computer Science, English Department, History Department, Rosen College of Hospitality Management. We have programs in Italian language, Japanese language, Latin American studies, mathematics and stats, politics, security and international affairs, and public administration. That list hopefully will grow so that we cover more programs, but those are currently the programs that we offer. Okay, as you can see, and we've talked about it, about that there are just specific majors. The application, when you submit the application through our studyabroad.ucf.edu website, is you submit an application, it is going to go to a specific contact person within the department, within your department, I should say. So for right now, if you're a business student and you submitted an application, that application will go to our contact, Joshua, and Joshua will make a decision. He will review your transcripts to see if you have the GPA required, see that you're a junior, see that you don't have any conduct issues, and then if you signed your terms of agreement and your assumption of risk, he will go ahead and accept you into that program. And then from that time period, you will have, from the time of acceptance, you'll have 14 days to commit to the program. Like we've talked briefly, there's a limited number of slots per program. So it's always better to submit your application early and then have it reviewed. You can actually submit applications for multiple programs. So not just one, but you can actually do up to 3 programs, and you can list them or rank them according to preference. We have very limited spots in some programs, so you may not get your first choice, but you may get your second choice. This is an exchange program, so it gives you the ability to continue using your financial aid package. And this is because you're able to register at UCF for that semester. You're going to be abroad and at the university abroad. So you're dual enrolled in both universities. You're just going to continue paying your normal tuition at UCF. And because you look like a normal student for the financial aid purposes, they're going to continue to offer you the financial aid package that you normally receive. And that could be including your federal aid, which is either Pell loans, any of your scholarships that you have, Bright Futures, Florida Prepaid, those will still work with an exchange program. The format is the same. Tuition will get paid out first. Anything that is remaining from that would be direct deposit to you, unless you have some arrangement to have, some of that aid paid for your housing on campus. But we have an actual contact person within the financial aid office that works with study abroad students, and we can provide that information to any student that is interested. You're required to be enrolled full-time. So if you're going to be a full semester abroad, and most of our programs are fall or spring, we have a very few programs in the summertime, you're required to be a full-time student, which is 12 credits or more. So whatever the equivalent of full-time enrollment is at the university abroad, that's what you're going to be taking there. And it will range depending on the country that you're going to. So on the website, studyabroad.ucf.edu, once you click on programs, do a simple search, select your program that you want to study. The programs will all look pretty much the same. It's going to have an overview, which is pretty much an overview of the university abroad. It's going to have information on the location and maybe sometime the weather at the location itself. It's going to have a tab that says application process. And this is where we put in what is the minimum requirement for you to actually be accepted into this program. And those requirements are determined by the department. It's not determined by us. So it will tell you there's a GPA requirement. You have to be most likely in a junior standing. It may tell you have to have a prerequisite course to take this. So all that information was already determined by the department, and you need to meet that criteria in order for you to be accepted. There's another tab that says program costs. And program costs really talks about the estimated costs for you to live abroad. And some of that information is basically, what is the estimated housing cost for living abroad? And we have that information. Estimated flight costs. That can range depending on if students are purchasing discounted tickets. Maybe they have family members that are able to give them discounts. That cost will range. And of course, your meals and maintaining yourself in that location. Those are always your 3 biggest costs. We also have on there a cost for getting a new passport, getting a visa, maybe the local travel information, a travel cost, incidentals, which could be any additional cost factor that we put in there. It's like a buffer amount. So there's a tab for program costs. We have you look at that because in your planning process for an exchange program, you need to know how much money you need to have and how that money most likely will be divided up. Additional information, the tab that says additional information, is basically if we have any sort of updated information. That could be student blogs. Could be a fact sheet from the University Abroad with just information. It could be a guide. It could be currency information. This is just any additional information that we think that you as a student would be, it would be helpful during this process. So review all of that information. Again, get organized, just be ready for the process to begin and start planning. And the website again is studyabroad.ucf.edu. So you've applied to this, you have submitted a study abroad application. The application is reviewed by your department, and you've been a fortunate student and you've been accepted. Awesome. The next step for you is to determine if you're going to commit within the next 14 days. If you decided to commit, only committed students will be submitted to the university during the nomination process. So this is what we call our nomination process. This is where we're going to tell the University Abroad that we're sending these students. The nomination is taken care of by my office, so by myself, really. So I indicate to the university, and they may ask information about the student. I compile that information, and I provide it to them of the students who are wanting to go to that university. So once I do that, I then email all the students that are going to that university. For example, let's pick a university today. Let's say Griffith University in Australia. I go ahead and inform Griffith that I'm sending 6 students. I go ahead and send an email to all the 6 students. Now these 6 students can be from math and could be from business. It doesn't matter. All 6 of them will get the email. All 6 of them will see the names of everyone and the emails for everyone. And so in that nomination email that I sent to the student, it's going to have a lot of information for you. It's going to have your contact information, the email. It's also going to have the information for travel assistance insurance, which is the free travel assistance insurance is what we provide all students that are traveling abroad. And that is a separate presentation to cover travel assistance insurance. I work closely with the UCF Global Division in reference to this. It also has, so I should say, a list of previous students that studied abroad. This is important because if you want to hear about the experience of students in that environment for a full semester, this is the only way you can do it, by reaching out to previous students. So we include a list of students there that have indicated they're willing to share their information and share about their experience itself. So I usually include that information as well. I've also included in the email recently a link to the travel clinic for you to set up an appointment. Depending on where you're going, you may need additional shots. There may be updates on the medical side that they would have for you. So we actually put that link in this information. I also put in the contact, the international contact at that university abroad. This is important because if you have certain needs, whether that's accommodation needs, maybe you have a mental health diagnosis and you would like to make sure that they have services at the university. This is a time for you to reach out and actually find out this information. You can actually reach out to me as well, but sometimes students are very private about these matters. And so we include the international contact, and you can reach out to that person at any point during this process. The request does not have to go through me. So we sent out the email in the nomination process. Students always ask, what do they pay, when do they pay? So again, this should be normal. You would pay to UCF your normal tuition. I say normal because if you're in state, you will pay what you'll normally pay. If you're out state, you'll pay what you normally pay. If you have some other financial arrangement, it will be the same. You're also paying a UCF Abroad administration fee, which is $350. That is generally posted to your account at the time of nomination. So it's going to be further along in the process. So the entities abroad, and we talked about this, some of the things that you have to think of when you're planning financially is how much the accommodations or housing is going to be, how much is the flights or transportation is going to look like, your meals, and actually surviving things that you may need to get, whether that's a jacket or a shoe, for that duration of time that you're going to be in that country. And of course, if you don't have a passport, you have to have a passport for your travel. So these are some of the out-of-pocket costs, and it helps if you look at the tab that says program costs, get an estimate of the pricing. So once I send the nomination email to the partner university, they have their own process and they may have a lag time as well when they want to take care of this. So most of the partner universities, with the exception of one or two, will contact the UCF student who's interested in studying abroad directly. And usually they'll send a welcome email that says, we received your nomination. We want to welcome you as a study abroad student. These are the things that you should be sending to us for the application. And most of our partner program, the application process is online. We have a few that the application is in a paper format, but that's it's less than 5 of our partners are like that. And so they will send you the link, they'll provide you guides a lot of the times. They'll go in, they'll send you the list of documents that you have to upload into the application. They'll provide you the deadline. They'll also let you know when you can actually sign up for your housing accommodations if you're on campus, or they will send you a list of student housing that you can also select from. Additionally, if any of the dates have changed, at the time of welcome, you may get updated dates for the program, or it would be definitely will be part of the acceptance letter or the acceptance process, where they actually provide you with the updated dates and information in regards to orientation and the starting of classes, as well as the end date for the program itself. The welcome email can also include any sort of intensive German class, intensive Spanish class, intensive Italian class. This is something you also need to sign up for in case you're interested in learning the language outside of the classroom as well. All of our programs, the mode of instruction is in English, so you do not need to learn another language to actually take part in this. We do have Japanese language, which in the classroom, Japanese would be spoken, but outside of that, all of the other programs, the classes are taught in English. Additional things that may be part of your application process at the partner university is your request for passports, the actual US passport, or passport pictures. These are the ones that you get at CVS or Walgreens. Even at the spot on campus, you can get your passport pictures. The spot on campus is a passport facilitator, so you can actually complete the application, drop it off with everything at the spot, and they'll mail it out for you as well. So check into that because it's really on campus and it's easy access. Another thing they may ask for is a motivational statement or essay, basically wanting to know why you selected this university. It's not half a page, one pager, just something to let them know why you select that university. They will also ask for transcripts. All of the partners ask for transcripts. And this is where you may have to request an electronic transcript that you can upload. This is not your degree audit. The degree audit is not sufficient for this process. You do need to request your transcript. They can request additional information, but those are the normal things that I've seen most partners asking for. If you're unclear about anything, please reach out to me and I will try to answer the question. Including, and we've talked about it, included in the partner email that you receive will be application deadlines that you need to meet. Most of the partners would also ask that you select your courses that you want to take abroad. At this point, you should be in contact with your department, whether that's business or hospitality, and actually sitting down with that contact person to determine what classes that you should select abroad that will come back and fit into your program of study. I do not make that determination. These are all academic decisions that you need to have a discussion within your department. There may be some accommodation information in the first email. Normally, I see that actually after the acceptance, they will put in the accommodation information. There are guides generally for you to not only do the applications, but also guide in reference to the university and the area that surrounds it. So to review the guide, this is a lot of helpful information. They may have housing information, currency information, anything it may be about cell phones or things like that. So review the guides, it's very important. A lot of our students, a lot of our partners, actually provide some visa or immigration steps. The process is different for every country. So review the information. If I have the most up-to-date information, I'll provide it to you. but it definitely comes from the university. Things change all the time, and so I do not always have the most recent information, but they may provide that to you. So we ask that you take that information directly from the school. Arrival information. A lot of the schools will provide an orientation. I do not know of any that do not have an orientation period. So you need to make sure that you arrive prior to the first day of orientation. So when you book your accommodations, look at the dates that you have to be there, because you know you have to be for orientation. At an orientation, they're going to really go over a lot of information for you, not about the school and classes, but also about adjusting, about making sure that they're the main contact for you in case an issue arises. Anything about adjusting to the environment will be part of the orientation. And you can ask questions as well. Some of our partners provide something called a buddy program. And a buddy program is really where they have a students at that university that's willing to be paired up with you to help you to adjust to that culture and to that university. The buddy program we do not have it with all of the partners because it's definitely different for each school. But if there's a buddy program, I really highly encourage you to sign up for it. It's really an easier way to help you adjust, have another student answering questions, not only about the area, but also about the classes. How are the classes set up? You know, this will be helpful information for you. So there's a buddy program. I encourage you to sign up for that as well. Okay, so these are pretty much the basic steps. So if you are if you're wanting to know, what am I going to need to go abroad? These are the steps that have to be accomplished before you depart. You've got to submit your application and you've got to get accepted. The acceptance letter is necessary for the visa process. You cannot apply for a visa without an acceptance letter. Some students will need to get a visa before they leave, which is really why it's called a visa, or they may go on their American passport and have to complete a process in that country, an immigration process. That is determined by the country itself. Some students may need to get a visa and in addition do an immigration process in that country. It is all you need to the country you're going to. Right now we're up to almost 30 different countries. And as we keep adding to the list, everything's going to be different. So the most up-to-date information is coming from the university. If we get the information, I will definitely send it out to you. You need to secure your accommodations or housing. And this is important because you're going to be booking flights, so you need to know when you can arrive so you can move into housing. We encourage students to actually, if there's on-campus housing, to stay on campus. If there's student housing, you stay within the student housing requirements. However, you don't have to. It is our recommendation, but we have students who have relatives abroad and will be staying with their relatives abroad, which is fine. We have students who prefer to be off campus and secure their own housing, which is absolutely fine as well. We just make sure that you send or update your housing information with us so we can know where you're staying in case of any type of emergency. But we do, in general, recommend if there's on-campus housing that you stay on campus. Your courses and course changes. So at some point, you should be registering for your courses prior to your departure. And your department and you would have a discussion about what courses you've selected. If for some reason you arrived at your destination and the class was dropped because of low enrollment or something has happened with the class and you have to pick up another class, that's fine, but you still need to reach out to your department contact and make sure that that course is going to be equivalent to a class here. You cannot just take a class there and then come back and expect us to accept it. There's a process of evaluation that needs to take place. And so if you had inadvertently, there was an error, something has changed with the protocol abroad, inform us, let us know what you're going to take so that we can actually start the evaluation process. The class may or may not be accepted. We want to make sure that we're recommending the right course for you that will not delay your program of study, will not delay your graduation. Flights and arriving at housing. So once you're completing, our recommendation is always get accepted, get your visa, secure your accommodations before you pick your flight or before you purchase your flight. We encourage you to do cancellation insurance in case you have to change the dates or anything like that. But you have different ways. We have a list of companies that you can select from. But we have students that have parents that work for the airline, so their flights could be discounted. We have students that have parents that work at agencies, and so that's fine. We don't restrict you on how you purchase your flight. We just want to emphasize that our recommendation is wait till your acceptance, wait till you have your visa, wait till you confirm your housing before purchasing the flight. If you're choosing to purchase the flight prior to this information coming in, make sure that you have some sort of flight insurance, cancellation insurance, so that if you need to change anything, that you're not out of pocket. And it's important for you to know where you're staying prior for you to departing. So some students will get there a little bit early, maybe a week early, so that they can adjust. Some students may stay a little bit later at the end, so they can do a little bit more touristic things. We don't deny you the ability to do that. Just make sure that we are informed of what you're planning to do. Pre-departure session. So during this process of studying abroad, I work closely with the UCF Global Office and the International Health and Safety Coordinator to actually create a pre-departure session. And the pre-departure session it's in two parts. We talk about the travel assistance insurance, which is given to all study abroad students, even faculty who go abroad, and what it covers, how it's covering you. If an incident occurs, how do you contact us to make sure that the coverage picks up? So my colleague will actually review that information, and then I come in and present a little bit more, an update on where you should be in the process of studying abroad on an exchange program. We also try to bring in students from this university that you're going to talk about their experience. So it's three things that we try to cover in that presentation. We talk about not only the process and the steps and the visas, but also general things like packing before you travel, money and banking, making sure that you've called your credit card companies and your debit card companies, and making sure that they know that you're outside of the country. Cell phone plans, laws abroad, and safety abroad is also something we talk about too. Making sure that you're in a new location, making sure that what are some of the safety concerns for this location that you should be in. So between myself and the International Health and Safety Coordinator, we review a lot of this information. So we require, right now, this semester, we're in fall, where we made it mandatory for any students that's going abroad for spring 2021. We'll continue to provide pre-departure sessions for the students moving forward. As long as we're in a pandemic, those sessions will be mandatory. Moving forward, we are looking at just making this an option, but also maybe posting the sessions online just in case students are not able to make it. Okay, so once you submit an application and you've been accepted, there are things that will pop up or on your study abroad application page. So one of the things that pop up is talking about expenses, financial aid, late grades, but also majority of the stuff is mainly focused on university abroad and program information. So it's unique to you. Every university has something called learning content. Learning content. Under the learning content, it's going to have university abroad application and program information for that particular university. It's very much specific for just that university. In this learning content, it will have information on application instructions or instructions on what you need to do, and it may even have a document list. This is always, we have a caveat that this is from the previous information that we had before. If the university has updated something, the most recent information will come directly from the university. So we ask that you follow their instructions at the time of nomination. So I have some information. We've put a caveat there. This is what I had from the previous semester or previous year that they submitted the process. But again, universities change all the time. We have almost 70 agreements, so it's really hard to keep up. So we'll let you know that look at the recent information from the university as it comes out. We try to put the most updated dates that we have. If there's current dates that we have, we'll put it in here. If we know it's an estimate, we'll say it's an estimate. So you'll have an idea as well. It also covers visa information. So we have information on the visa process there for you as well. And if you're just in the process of applying, this is just for you to review and have an idea what your next step will be once you get your acceptance letter. So review it. Again, you're always planning and prepping for the next step. We also have a section on flight information, and you'll see a few links there that you can use. But again, you can purchase tickets in any format, so you don't have to use this, but this is some of the links that we've seen a lot of our students using. There's another portion about accommodation, because this is a big thing for students. So we have a section there. You can look at the accommodations that is available for that university, and sort of in a planning mode of, is this one that I think would work for me? Look at the cost, look at the pictures to see if it's what amenities does it offer, how far away is it from the university, in case it's a student accommodation that is not on campus. So look at all that information and make a determination. You can maybe start the process until you know you've been accepted. You have to wait a little bit until you confirm your accommodation. But we have the information there for you to actually review and peruse during the whole process. Health insurance, if there is a country or that requires you, or a university that requires you to have additional insurance on top of the travel assistant insurance that we provide you, we will provide the information in the link as well. In the case of Australia, they required you to purchase a specific health insurance for their students, which is also needed for the visa process as well. So we've put the information here for you to review. This is all part of the planning process. So those are mainly the steps of being a student on an exchange and going abroad. Some of the things that we want you to be aware of once you're there in country is give yourself time to adjust. This is a new experience for many of you. Therefore, it's new. The climate is new. The culture is new. The food is new. The setup, the student housing is new. The process at the university. So it's going to take you a little time to adjust. So don't expect that you're going to know everything at the same time. Do not expect that this is going to be like the same American experience. So give yourself some time, some leeway to adjust to the new environment. Ask as many questions as you need so that you know and don't assume. So remember to do that, because this is the only way you're going to learn and to know what you should be doing. Plan ahead and complete some research. It's really helpful if you do some research about the location, the temperature change. You may go into winter, and at the end of the semester, you're in spring. So look at the temperature changes because you're going to need that to plan accordingly as well too. If the location uses a lot of bus or train services, maybe you can look at that and see how people get on the bus, get off the bus. Do they need a card to get on? Those kind of things. A lot of that will be transportation will be covered at orientation, but this is a little information for you to be researching and getting ahead and actually finding out more about the university you're going to. You are still a UCF student, so the golden rules applies to you, which means that our expectation of you is to conduct yourself as a UCF student. If at any point during this process that you are encroaching or been brought up on any sort of student conduct issue at that university, please acknowledge that we will also make that information available to student contact at UCF. So it will carry across countries into UCF as well. So please act accordingly. This is an academic program. This is not a leisure program. So we really want you to focus on doing well in your academic courses. A lot of the programs will do an actual grade equivalency. So if you do A work there, you'll get an A grade here. But you need to make sure you're on top of the academic work there. When you go into the first classroom, there's expectations that is delivered by the faculty member. So you need to make sure you understand what is the requirement for you to excel in this class. Again, these are academic programs, academic study abroad programs, not leisure programs. Even though we encourage you to get involved in the culture, to explore, to see what the city, the area is about, but we still want to focus that it is academic in nature. And we want to encourage you to, expand your circle of friends. This is going to be an international experience because there are all so many different countries coming to this one location. So be focused on that, but also enjoy your time abroad and be safe. Check in with your parents, check in with your family, check in with your friends. Keep in contact. We send out little welcome email. Hi, just wanted to check to see how things are going. We just want to make sure you're settled in. If you have any sort of concerns, this is the time to let me know so I can reach out to my contact at the site. But let me know if there's any concerns. So I'll send an email out, respond, let me know if anything I can help you with. Or just let me know, yeah, I'm having a great time. I've been doing this, I'm going to museums and traveling. This is great. Now, all of this I'm talking about is if we are in a normal study abroad setting. We're currently in a pandemic, so things are not normal. Things are completely different. And so in a normal setting, traveling around, doing a lot of things would be a normal study abroad experience. The pandemic has changed everything, so we need to act accordingly. Inform us if you become sick or need help in general. We want to know if there's something we can help you with. We want to know, we want to know if you're safe, do you need to come back home? Let us know. We're always concerned about your safety and health abroad. So it might just be a little cold, but we can check in and just make sure that you're over it or you're getting the medication that you need. Not a problem. Just let us know if you become sick or some incident occurred. We really, it's something that we really need to be aware of. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Studying abroad is a great experience, and so we encourage you to take advantage of it if at all possible. There's a student panel today, and there's another student panel yesterday. And the great things I hear from the students about their study abroad experience is just unimaginable. And even for those students that came back in spring 2020 when we had to cancel programs, they were like, it's an unbelievable life-changing experience. It was eye-opening. It was a cultural shift. It was learning things that they didn't know before. They love the classroom style because it was very much hands-on. They have created friendships that are international, and they're now more encouraged to travel all over the world now than before. So this is a great experience for anyone. So I encourage students to study abroad, be smart about it, make sure that you're doing the process, you're organizing, you're reading the information, you're doing the research, you're making sure you're healthy and safe for this process. And ask questions, continue to ask questions. That's the only way that we know you have a concern or a question about the process. So let us know, but that's all I have for exchange exchange program process right now. Again, our website is studyabroad.ucf.edu. My name is DAREN Caine. You can reach out to me. I will put my email in here as well. If you have any concerns about exchange program, please let me know. And of course, this is one of a few other study abroad options that we have. So it does not necessarily have to be an exchange program. So all of us have a great day, and I will hopefully see you talking to you about studying abroad. Bye.